After losing a round of truth or dare, I kissed my secret crush. Unexpectedly, I gained the ability to read minds. Marcus sat silently in the corner after our impulsive kiss, his expression unreadable. Yet, I clearly heard a voice in my head, her lips are so soft. Need to find another way to make her kiss me again. During the party game, my card draw triggered raucous cheers. Sarah's demonic cackling vibrated my eardrums as I stared at the dare card trembling in my hand. Open your eyes already, Sarah shoved my shoulder. The card's instruction glared back at me, make out with the person beside you. Of the two people flanking me, Sarah and Marcus, the latter had originally sat elsewhere. He'd switched seats earlier, claiming cigarette smoke bothered him. Now the entire group chanted, Marcus, Marcus. As Sarah dramatically warned, don't even think about kissing me. Girl-on-girl actions against the rules. My palms slipped with sweat as I turned toward Marcus. The dim lounge lighting obscured his expression. We'd barely exchanged 3 sentences since freshman orientation, kissing might as well be scaling Everest. Just do it, my best friend hissed in my ear. Marcus finally looked up from examining his drink. I don't mind, he said calmly, triggering volcanic-level cheering. Our lips met as his Adam's apple bobbed. That famously soft mouth from campus forum discussions lived up to its reputation, warm, plush, with the faintest upward curl at the corners. Was he smiling? Sarah's hyena laughter snapped me back to reality. I jerked away after the briefest contact, colliding with her chair. That's it? She screeched, waving the dare card. Where's the passionate kiss? Mortification burned my cheeks. When I finally dared look up, Marcus had relocated to the farthest corner. His shadow profile gave nothing away. But the mental voice whispered again, too quick. Should have lingered. He looked unwell. What was he thinking? Did he regret it? Did I ruin his mood? Does he hate me now? My mind was racing, debating whether to go apologize. Suddenly, a familiar voice whispered in my ear, did she kiss me? It was Marcus's voice. I turned to see Marcus sitting at the far end, expressionless. Was I hallucinating? I stared suspiciously at the silent Marcus. Then his voice came again, her lips were so soft. Marcus blinked slowly. Need to find a way to make her kiss me again. What? I froze in disbelief until Sarah nudged me after finishing another round of games. What? Cat got your tongue? Did you? I hesitated. Hear Marcus just now? Marcus? Sarah frowned, glancing over. He hasn't spoken since earlier. Chloe, you drunk? Rest here a while. She dashed back to the game while I sat grappling with confusion. That hallucination felt too real. Cheers erupted as someone announced, make space. Marcus is joining. I watched guys shift aside, creating a spot where Marcus settled beside me again. My pulse quickened, his earlier thought echoing, need to make her kiss me again. When the game resumed, Marcus kept losing, downing multiple shots. His friend ribbed him. Since when are you this terrible? Marcus shrugged. Bad luck. Keep going. After another loss, he studied the truth or dare cards instead of drinking. His friends slammed the deck down. Let's see Marcus's choice. Maybe go twerk next door. Marcus calmly scanned the cards. His internal monologue suddenly pierced my mind, pick the creased corner one. My eyes darted across the table, finding several cards with folds as others urged him to choose. Marcus's finger finally landed on a specific card. All right, this one then. Jake flipped the card impatiently and suddenly burst out laughing. Oh man. Oh man, guess what this is? He waved the card teasingly, deliberately prolonging the suspense until Sarah started fuming. Just spit it out already. Whoa. This card. This card. Sarah rolled up her sleeves. Hurry up or I'll punch you. After taking a few mock punches, Jake finally revealed it. His eyes darted between me and Marcus twice before he grinned and turned the card over. I leaned forward and froze. It was the exact same card I'd drawn earlier. The glaringly familiar "make out with the person next to you" text stared back, complete with that tiny crease in the lower right corner. My heartbeat skyrocketed. Jake nudged Marcus with his elbow, tone sly. "Crazy coincidence, huh, Marcus?" Quite." Marcus's expression remained neutral as he glanced at the card. His calm nod should have been reassuring, but then he suddenly locked eyes with me. My pulse throbbed in my ears. Those dark eyes held mine for several heartbeats in the dim light before he asked quietly, "Is this okay?" My mind went blank. Okay with what? What I think he means? Sarah covered her mouth, gaze ping-ponging between us before erupting in giggles. She pushed my head forward like an overeager cheerleader. Yes, absolutely. We're all about respecting game rules here. Marcus gave her a sidelong glance before refocusing on me, silently waiting. After 3 excruciating seconds, he added calmly, "I didn't mind earlier." The unspoken implication hung heavy. "I accommodated you. Now it's your turn." But my protest died as someone shoved my shoulder, sending me tumbling into Marcus. Strong hands steadied me as my lips brushed against something warm. I looked up into Marcus's downcast gaze. From this angle, I could see every flutter of those absurdly long lashes before his eyes crinkled slightly at the corners. Holy shit. Kissing my crush twice in one night. My heart threatened to beat out of my chest. So much blood rushed to my face instantly, I became a human furnace. Face burning, I scrambled off Marcus and bolted to the bathroom. Cold water splashed on my hands provided minimal relief. No amount of tap water could cool the phantom warmth lingering on my lips. The memory of Marcus's mouth, his faint smile, the way nope, not going there. I spent what felt like an eternity calming down in the restroom. When I returned to the private room, I overheard my best friend Jake interrogating Marcus. Jake squinted suspiciously at Marcus. "Dude, why do I feel like you've been grinning nonstop since earlier?" Marcus looked up lazily. "Have I?" "You totally have," Jake insisted, mischief sparking in his eyes. "Ever since you lost that drinking game." He waited expectantly for Marcus's denial. Marcus didn't even blink. "If you say so." Jake threw up his hands. What the? The emotional turmoil I just suppressed came flooding back. Taking 2 deep breaths, I slipped into a corner booth to recompose myself. The post-party fatigue had settled over the room, everyone lounging on couches making idle chatter. That's when Marcus's internal monologue pierced through the haze again. "Need to find an excuse to get closer. She's sitting all the way across the room." I stole a glance at Marcus, finding him deep in thought. His gaze drifted to Jake beside him. Jake was still sulking over the earlier exchange when Marcus suddenly nudged him. "Why aren't you smoking?" Jake blinked. "Why would I?" Marcus paused. "You look cooler when you smoke." "Damn right I do," Jake preened, pulling out a cigarette as he lit up. Marcus let out a perfectly timed cough just loud enough for the whole room to hear. "What the hell, man?" Jake froze mid-drag. "Can't handle smoke," Marcus shrugged. "Need fresh air." My breath hitched as Marcus calmly crossed the room to sit directly across from me. Sleep eluded me that night. I crawled into Sarah's bunk, whispering, "Can being drunk make you hallucinate? Like hear things?" Sarah, more intoxicated than I was, mumbled into her pillow. "What did you hear?" "Chloe," I clutched my phone. "I heard Marcus say he wants to find a way to kiss me." Sarah's half-open eyes slid shut as she rolled over. "Sleep it off. We'll deal with this in the morning." "What's that supposed to mean? You don't believe me?" "Not saying that," came her muffled reply. "Just save the daydreaming for daylight hours." To test reality, Sarah dragged me toward the dining hall next morning to casually bump into a certain someone. We halted at the entrance upon hearing Jake's groggy protest. Seriously, we had to hike to this damn cafeteria? It's light years from our dorm. Marcus's eyes flickered toward the nearby women's residence hall. The food's better here. Since when? Jake rubbed sleep from his eyes. Sarah and I froze as the two figures came into view, morning sunlight glinting off Marcus's windswept hair as he strode toward us with calculated nonchalance. Well, that worked out easier than expected. Sarah grinned and tugged me over, waving enthusiastically. Jake, morning. Jake and Sarah had always been oddly in sync. Jake waved back with equal energy. Hey, what a coincidence. As Sarah dragged me closer, she whispered urgently in my ear, try listening again during breakfast. We need to confirm this. Before I could ask how we'd manage that, she'd already bounded over to them. Perfect timing. Want to grab food together? Jake started nodding before remembering his companion. Maybe next time. Marcus here isn't really into group meals. He patted Sarah's shoulder apologetically. Definitely next time. That's when I caught the faintest flicker of Marcus's gaze brushing past me. I don't dislike it, he stated calmly. Jake blinked at him. What? I enjoy having breakfast company, Marcus clarified, face impassive. Jake looked like someone had replaced his coffee with decaf. His expression remained frozen all the way to the cafeteria. Since when? He hissed, fingers digging into Marcus's shoulder. Since when do you do group meals with girls? Since now, Marcus replied serenely. Chaos ensued as Sarah and Jake immediately beelined for their favorite food stations. I hovered behind Marcus, quietly resolving to mirror whatever my crush ordered. Except he wasn't moving either, apparently deep in menu contemplation. What are you getting? I finally ventured. Marcus glanced up. Haven't decided. The awkward standoff lasted until I caved and headed for the omelet line. Footsteps followed. He matched my pace exactly, stopping at the same counter, ordered identical breakfast combos, sat down across from me without comment. The entire time, his thoughts flooded my ears like radio static, matching meals. Cute. She's adorable when nervous. Need plausible reason for next time. I concentrated on my eggs, feeling my ears combust. Sarah pounced as we left. Well, did it work? He, thought my food choices were cute. Wants to eat together again. Sarah's eyes widened comically. Marcus, Mr. Human Ice Sculpture, said that? She pressed a palm to my forehead. We're getting you to the nurse now. Can't blame her skepticism. If I hadn't heard the internal monologue myself, I'd question my sanity too. Why would Marcus suddenly want to hang around me? My phone buzzed with Sarah's follow-up text about piano competition results, first place. Obviously. As I pocketed the device, another notification lit up the screen. A friend request popped up. My breath hitched as I recognized the profile picture instantly. I'd seen Marcus's WeChat avatar countless times on the campus confession page. Though dozens of computer science majors had tried adding him, rumors said few ever got through. Marcus wasn't big on accepting random contacts. My fingers trembled as I hit accept, the chat window loading with painful slowness. His message arrived before I could study my racing pulse. Hi, this is Marcus. Jake mentioned you're an excellent pianist. Would you mind giving me some basic lessons? I'm hopeless at this. I nearly choked on my own saliva. Marcus, campus heartthrob and programming prodigy, wanted me to teach him piano. Since when did my childhood hobby become relationship currency? The sheet music he'd chosen was laughably simple. Yet Marcus's long fingers kept fumbling over the keys with absurdly wrong placements. Your hand position's off, I managed, voice cracking. Don't flatten them like that. My bad. Marcus blinked up at me with infuriating innocence, rearranging his hands into an even worse configuration. Like this? I bit back a groan. Those pianist-perfect fingers kept sabotaging themselves, missing every correct posture with creative determination. When our eyes met over another botched chord, he murmured, "Guess I'm all thumbs today." Not your fault, I waved hastily, knuckles accidentally brushing his. The spark of contact ignited an idea. Would you mind if I physically adjust your hand positions? Just for teaching purposes. My stomach dropped the moment the words left my mouth. Everyone knew Marcus hated being touched, even after our unconventional game night. But to my shock, he nodded. Go ahead. Marcus's lashes lowered as he extended his hands, the ghost of a smile playing at his lips, the same barely there curve I'd felt against my mouth in that dark karaoke room. Electricity shot through my veins when our skin connected. This counted as hand-holding, right? My pulse thundered as I guided his fingers, hyper-aware of every millimeter of contact. Marcus remained statue still, gaze fixed on our overlapping hands. The practice room's silence magnified when his sudden thought pierced my consciousness, finally got to hold them. I froze mid-correction. Marcus's head tilted up, all practiced nonchalance. Something wrong? Did you just? I swallowed the accusation. His calm facade gave nothing away. The unspoken words hung between us like suspended piano wires, vibrating with secrets. I don't have teaching experience. It's fine, Marcus spoke first. Just tell me what to do and I'll follow. After finishing our first practice session, I finally relaxed. Marcus's fingers still rested on the keys, tapping rhythmically. The sound blended with his thoughts echoing in my ears. Now I can ask her out for dinner properly. I stiffened as I turned around slowly. Sure enough, Marcus looked up at me the next moment. You're a great teacher, he said casually. Let me take you out to eat as a thank you. My mind spun. The guy I'd been crushing on suddenly felt off. Things that used to seem perfectly normal now felt calculated after hearing his inner voice, calculated moves to get closer, to infiltrate my life. When afternoon classes ended during heavy rain, the student by the window suddenly exclaimed, "Shit, I didn't bring an umbrella." I glanced outside. The downpour mocked the sunny forecast. The weather forecast lied again. I gritted my teeth, I'd forgotten mine too. Sarah hadn't come to class today. After the bell rang, students with umbrellas left first. Those without squeezed under friends' umbrellas and left together. The crowd thinned rapidly. Standing by the entrance, hoping for the rain to stop, I suddenly heard, "This rain's freezing." Did she bring an umbrella? If not, perfect, I'll walk her. If she did, well, I'll just accidentally drop mine. Instinctively, I looked up and saw Marcus approaching with an umbrella from across the quad, quite a distance from the computer science building. Our eyes met as he deliberately tilted the umbrella toward me. What a coincidence, he said. Coincidence? I stared blankly as rainwater drummed overhead. He glanced at my empty hands and subtly relaxed. I happened to be passing by. Need company? Happen to? I pointed weakly. Your dorm's the other way. Oh. Marcus replied smoothly. Your campus cafeteria has better food. Raindrops pattered against nylon. My heartbeat thundered in sync. Marcus's thoughts joined the chaotic rhythm. Why is she wearing so little? Isn't she cold? The wind's chilly today. I need to find a chance to remind her. Ugh, I'm such a nag. I listened silently, stealing a glance at the expressionless guy beside me. Who knew people could have such dual personalities? His act was flawless. During the rainy streak, Marcus always found excuses to share an umbrella with me. He'd subtly tilt the umbrella toward my side each time, standing so close I could smell his cologne. I curled my fingers nervously before finally blurting out, "Do you just coincidentally show up here every day?" Marcus paused almost imperceptibly. "Do you think it's coincidence too?" He countered, turning to face me. "Don't you?" Actually, Marcus nodded calmly, "I believe it's fate." His gaze dropped to meet mine. "What do you think?" "Think about what?" I averted my eyes, watching him cling to this charade. I suddenly wondered what expression would appear on that stoic face if I revealed I could hear his thoughts. Next morning, I unsurprisingly saw Marcus and Jake trekking across campus to the dining hall again. Jake shoved his hands in pockets, this time without complaints. Got to admit, he grinned, I finally get why you're obsessed with this place. Marcus shot him a sidelong glance, prompting him to continue. I leaned in curiously. The food's way better than our usual spot, Jake declared, slapping the table. Let's eat here every day. Fine, Marcus agreed. At breakfast, Sarah and I sat across from them while discussing Jake's birthday plans. Both social butterflies, Sarah and Jake debated guest lists animatedly when a computer science sophomore's name came up. Marcus suddenly interjected. Not him. Why? Jake looked up mid-bite. Don't like him. Whatever. Jake crossed out the name, then frowned. Wait, didn't you veto him at last month's Truth or Dare party too? Yeah, but he's harmless. What's your deal? Marcus stared at his coffee. He irritates me. Later, I kept puzzling over that crossed-off name until Sarah gasped dramatically. Chloe. She scrolled through her contacts, showing me the exact name Marcus had rejected. How do you have his number? You really don't remember? Sarah squinted. I told you he asked you out last semester. Marcus hadn't come to me for piano lessons in a while. When I bumped into Jake after class, I realized he was alone today. Sarah circled around him curiously. Where's everyone else? My boy's doing a talent show performance, Jake said, shoving his hands in his pockets and lowering his voice. Wasn't supposed to tell anyone, but we're tight. Dude's crazy good at piano. Some competition thing. I'll sneak you a video later. Total secret. The words, crazy good at piano, kept echoing in my head. I scrolled through old messages. Marcus, Jake says you're amazing at piano. Could you teach me? I'm clueless. My fingers paused on the screen. He lied. During lecture, I glanced out the window and spotted Marcus leaning against the building wall 3 blocks away from any logical path between campus gates. Sunlight glinted off the velvet box in his hands. Too bright. When does class end? Need to see her? The whispered words crept into my ears, making my skin prickle with heat. Sarah elbowed me. You sick? Nope. Then why are you blushing? Sunburn, I muttered, eyes fixed on the courtyard below. Marcus's stone-faced composure hid a storm of thoughts. He kept flipping the jewelry box, mentally rehearsing casual ways to hand it over. His head suddenly snapped up, following his gaze. I saw the guy from my economics seminar approaching. Sarah groaned. Chloe, isn't that the creep who kept asking you out? Thought he gave up. My breath hitched as Marcus pushed off the wall in 3 strides. He intercepted the guy near the bike racks. Fancy meeting you here, Marcus drawled, spinning the unopened box like a basketball. The guy froze, caught off guard. Before he could respond, Marcus continued, waiting for someone too. Why? Yeah, you, Marcus's thumb traced the box's satin ribbon. For my girlfriend. When did Marcus get a girlfriend? I stiffened. The guy looked even more bewildered. He couldn't help asking, your girlfriend is? Chloe, Marcus replied calmly. The guy's face darkened instantly at those 2 words. Marcus glanced at him, feigning obliviousness as he continued in that same even tone. You, who are you waiting for? When the guy stayed silent, Marcus tilted his head. Want to wait together? The guy shot him a glare before storming off. Marcus's eyebrow quirked upward slightly. He looked up and met my gaze through the classroom window. After class, I bolted downstairs to confront Marcus about his earlier remarks. In my haste, I tripped over my own feet and went sprawling. Strong hands caught me milliseconds before face-planting. Careful, Marcus exhaled, steadying me. Even after all this time, his proximity made my pulse race. Once upright, he cut straight to the chase, producing the velvet jewelry box he'd been clutching. Sunlight glinted off the delicate silver bracelet inside. My face flushed as I stared at it. Is this for me? Found it while running errands, Marcus said smoothly, the practiced nonchalance back in place. Seemed like your style. He paused, then casually added, what were you watching from the window earlier? Just the scenery. Right. His shoulders relaxed fractionally. I happened to be passing by anyway. Figured I'd drop this off. Really? I crossed my arms. I'm not buying that anymore. Marcus maintained perfect composure, though I could practically see the gears turning behind those calm eyes. As we walked, I suddenly asked, what have you been working on these past few days? Competition prep. He answered automatically. I stopped short. What kind? Marcus froze for half a heartbeat. I swear I could read his thoughts. Why is she acting strange? Why do I feel like I'm walking into a trap? Outwardly, he remained collected. Just a minor contest. Oh, I nodded slowly. A small piano competition, right? His silence spoke volumes. Marcus, I said softly, meeting his gaze. So you do play piano? Caught. He cleared his throat. A little. My eyebrow arched. You call winning nationals a little? The piece you asked me to teach you is the most basic one. My hand positioning was completely wrong. Marcus, I forgot at the time. Marcus maintained a relatively calm expression, though his inner thoughts were already in turmoil. Holy shit. Stop asking. I need to find some excuse to change the subject. Following his internal monologue, I directly addressed it. Don't try changing the subject. I looked up at him. Let's talk properly instead. I revealed my mind-reading ability to Marcus. A rare crack appeared in Marcus's composed demeanor. Mind-reading? What does that mean? Ever since that truth or dare kiss, I've been able to hear your thoughts. Everything you think internally, I can hear it. Everything. Marcus suddenly seemed to recall something, his face going pale. He pressed his lips together in denial. I don't believe you. I started listing examples. You were thinking. Before I could continue, Marcus's body tensed. Need to find a way to make her kiss me again. Marcus froze in place, slowly turning to look at me with unreadable emotion in his eyes, like deeply buried secrets suddenly exposed to sunlight. He swallowed hard, maintaining his neutral expression. Need to find some reason to keep talking. Say I forgot my umbrella in the rain, so she'll walk with me. If she brought hers, I'll throw mine away. Chloe. Marcus suddenly interrupted, leaning closer with lowered voice. Stop. He looked down at me. I confess. My crush had secretly been crushing on me too. That previous gathering wasn't accidental, Marcus had organized it. When he heard a computer science major liked me, he set up the whole event to get closer to me. When that same guy tried joining after learning I'd attend, Marcus ruthlessly removed him from the guest list. Only Marcus knew the true purpose of that party. He stood silently for a long moment before wordlessly taking the bracelet from its box. With careful concentration, he fastened it around my wrist. After securing the clasp, he unexpectedly spoke without his usual restraint. I picked this out ages ago. Chloe, Marcus murmured, still looking at our joined hands. Can I properly pursue you? My heartbeat thudded violently in response. Thump, thump. The sound of my heartbeat exploded in my chest as I adjusted the bracelet on my wrist. I swallowed hard. Before I could speak, two loud, holy shits, erupted from behind us. Marcus and I turned around to see Jake and Sarah standing there, their faces frozen in shock. Sarah recovered first. So which one of you was chasing the other? She blurted out with nervous laughter. I forced a chuckle and scratched my head. Guess the person I had a crush on actually liked me back. Wait. Jake's voice shot up an octave as he charged forward. You liked who? His eyes narrowed like a detective scanning a suspect. Hold on. "You've been eyeing my bro this whole time?" "Kind of," I mumbled, heat flooding my cheeks. "For a while now." Jake wheeled on Marcus. "And you, don't think you're off the hook. I knew something was off with you. All those sudden lunch dates and accidental meetups. You even kept it from your own bro." Marcus simply smiled, not bothering to deny anything. "Better food at the cafeteria, my ass." Jake threw his hands up. "I wasted weeks waking up early for your stupid excuses." Marcus patted his shoulder. "You said the omelets were good." Jake pulled out a cigarette, lighting it with dramatic flair. "Watching your bro get a girlfriend while I'm still single." He took a long drag. "Makes a man want to chew through steel." The two continued bickering as they entered the cafeteria. Suddenly, I felt Marcus's gaze, though he remained silent. His racing heartbeat betrayed him. What exactly did she say earlier? Wish I could hear her say it again. Seizing the moment, I stepped closer until our shoes touched. I said, my voice dropped to a whisper, "I've liked you for a long time too." Marcus blinked innocently. "Can't hear you over the crowd." I leaned in until his eyelashes became individual strands. His breath warmed my cheek as I repeated, "I said." His lips met mine mid-sentence, soft yet insistent. My hands fisted his shirt as the world dissolved into the warmth of his mouth. When we finally broke apart, my lungs burned and my knees wobbled. "Now I heard you," he murmured, thumb brushing my flushed cheek. Later, as we walked hand in hand, I asked when he'd first noticed me. Marcus's smile turned secretive, his fingers tightening around mine. He tilted his head and gazed into the distance for a moment. "Take a guess," he said. I pondered. "Freshman year?" Marcus shook his head. "Earlier?" I mused. That would only leave the first day of school, because that's when I'd spotted Marcus in the crowd the instant I stepped onto campus. What I didn't anticipate was Marcus's definition of earlier, reaching back to my childhood. During my first piano lesson, the instructor happened to be Marcus's mother. He claimed he'd noticed the crying girl practicing scales back then, her sobs so disruptive he couldn't concentrate on homework in the next room. Curious, he peered through the window to find me bawling my eyes out while stuffing candy into my pockets. Come to think of it, I did recall that kind teacher who kept sweets in her studio. I'd never imagined those were actually Marcus's candies, all pilfered by my tear-stained hands. Marcus developed a habit of checking if the little brat was crying each day. Between the waterworks, he thought the kid looked adorable. He tugged his mother's sleeve, asking for my name, declaring he wanted to see her cry every day. Eventually, we became playmates. He distinctly remembered the heart-shaped birthmark on my wrist. "See this?" he'd said, tracing the mark. "My special stamp. If you ever get lost, I'll find you by this." Life eventually separated us when my family moved away. Mrs. Thompson comforted him, "Keep practicing piano and studying hard, and you'll see her again." Marcus clung to that promise for over a decade, not because he believed the platitude, but because he trusted his own premonition. Since childhood, he possessed uncanny intuition about reunions. The moment he saw the name Chloe Williams on the freshman orientation roster, he knew his wait had ended. Jake's gathering fell on a weekend. Sarah, who thrived in lively environments, had already gone out with Jake's crew early that morning. When Chloe and Marcus arrived later, the party was in full swing. During dinner, Sarah and Jake's boisterous antics dominated the evening. Jake still seemed bothered about Marcus. When I returned from washing my hands, I found Jake had taken my seat beside Marcus. The guys were aggressively pouring drinks down their throats. Sarah pulled me down to sit, whispering, "How far have you two gotten?" "Have you?" She pursed her lips, making kissing noises. "Smooched." "You totally have, right?" Sarah kept teasing me while Jake and Marcus argued nearby. Sipping my soda, I stole glances at Marcus. His sharp eyes immediately caught mine, one brow quirking upward. My face heated as his gaze drifted downward, lingering on my lips. Though Marcus appeared aloof at the party, I clearly heard the thought that slipped through when his eyes dropped. So cute. Want to kiss her? I choked violently on my drink, coughing until tears sprang to my eyes. You okay? Sarah thumped my back. Chloe, what's gotten into you? Marcus leaned closer, those gorgeous eyes wide with feigned innocence. Could you? I wheezed through coughs. Stop fantasizing. My apologies, he lowered his lashes, the picture of contrition. It's involuntary. After a pause, he added softly, I'll try to restrain myself. Damn. That somehow sounded even more suggestive. What? What? Sarah looked between us suspiciously. Jake smirked. More of their nauseating couple telepathy. My eyes have seen too much. I'd assumed Marcus would behave after discovering I could hear his thoughts. How naive. The guy was clearly unhinged. When we made crafts together, I initially planned to give my first creation to Sarah. Marcus sat silently, yet his mental barrage was deafening. Will she think of me first? Catching his hastily averted gaze, I shoved my finished piece at him. Here. His brows lifted. For me? I'm flattered. His fingers brushed mine. It'd be perfect with my name engraved. Grumbling, I snatched it back to carve Marcus Thompson. Thank you. His lips curved as I returned it. This means more than you know. Turning to make Sarah's gift, I froze when Marcus tugged my sleeve. He pressed an exquisite sculpture into my palm. Chloe Williams, carved in elegant script. Made this for you. I clutched the keepsake, heart bursting. Though I kept my face neutral, Marcus eyed me. She's not even going to say she likes it. Just tolerating me as usual. I love it, I hissed through clenched teeth. Marcus, why can't you just speak plainly? Marcus chuckled softly as he watched me flustered. Do you like it? I carefully cradled the sculpture in my arms and answered sincerely, very much. Marcus looked at me and nodded. I like you too. The sudden confession left me frozen in place. Marcus bent down, pulling me into his embrace. His lips brushed against mine in a feather-like kiss. Lowering his voice, he murmured by my ear with deliberate slowness, I've liked you for a long time.